On This Week in Iowa, a discussion about children's mental health with two Iowa parents. Then we speak to the former president of Mexico, his thoughts on the wall, trade, and President Trump. And later, the Asian and Latino Coalition in Iowa has a strong position in the Iowa caucuses, the group's message to candidates. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here on This Week in Iowa. I'm Sabrina Ahmed, and I am joined now by Mary Neubauer and her husband, Larry Loss. Both of you, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story with us. We are here to talk about the children's mental health system that just passed both the House and the Senate, is waiting to be signed by the governor, and you two were instrumental in making sure that this legislation passed. We know it was a priority of the governor, but you two helped to bring this issue to light. Talk to me about your son, Sergey, and how we got here.
You know, Sergey tragically took his own life in September of 2017, and when he died, we made the decision to just write a really honest obituary about him. He was an incredible kid, funny, intelligent, handsome, athletic, you know, all of the wonderful qualities that you can imagine in a young person, but at the same time he did struggle with depression, anxiety, PTSD as a result of his tumultuous childhood in Russia, and we addressed that honestly, and it really sparked a larger conversation here in Iowa, and I think it has led to the conversation that's continuing today and some of the progress that we're seeing. It's just a matter of letting everyone know it is perfectly okay to talk about these things, and we need to be talking about them if we're ever really going to reach the point that we can help people.
Did you honestly think that when you wrote your son's obituary that you would be thrust into the spotlight about children's mental health and creating a system?
Never. But as Mary said, as that went viral and we were contacted by a lot of people, people seeking help for their own family member, their own child. They knew that their neighbor was suffering. We felt, you know, we need to speak up. Yeah. We need to do what we can to try and make for a better system in Iowa. And so we've tried speaking with people. We've spoken to groups. Mary's worked a lot with legislators, and so far things have been moving forward, and that's great.
Well, congratulations on this passing these two huge hurdles. The governor, this is a huge initiative for her, so it is likely to be signed by her.
Pretty sure.
So tell us, what is in this legislation?
Well, I was on the state board that made a list of recommendations that led to this bill, and one of the most important pieces that I think is in there is emergency care for kids in crisis all across the state, no matter the area of the state where you live. We talk a lot about how hard it is to find help if you're struggling here in the Des Moines metro area. That's times 10 or times 100 in rural Iowa, just because resources are so much fewer and farther between. Another huge piece of the bill that I think is really important that will be built out is an 800 number that people can call when they're looking for help. When we were looking for help for Sergey, the doctors and the nurses with whom we worked just didn't know where to tell us to go for him to find help, and that was just devastating. And so we want to help other people avoid that if we can, and we think that 800 number is just a real-world solution for folks.
You must have felt so lost.
Lost, overcome.
It's just gut-wrenching hard to try and find help for your child, in our case, and kind of felt like you're out on an island because we were calling all over the country. We were, you know, searching the internet for facilities that could help him, and it's just incredibly hard. And you have to try and stay strong while you're doing all of that. It takes quite a toll on anyone that would be going through it. So if an 800 number helpline can help people, that would be outstanding.
So there's no steady stream of funding connected to this. So what are you hoping changes in that regard? Because obviously, to build these things up, it does require dollars.
Right, and I think the fact that the policy bill has passed that says these programs will be developed and will be mandated across the state is a huge first step. We've never had that here in Iowa for kids, but you're right, the funding side of the equation is always the hardest part. You know, if you're going to have this, someone has to pay for it. So there have been some changes made in terms of the money that's available to counties for mental health care and the amount of money that they can carry forward from one year year to the next. But in my opinion, the state will have to put state resources towards a program like this to make it effective. That conversation is still going on up at the Capitol right now, and so that's the next piece that we'll be working on over the next couple weeks before the legislature will adjourn.
And do you think that'll happen this session?
I think it will happen. You know, a lot of people have said maybe this whole thing isn't enough, but as we have said, it's a starting point. If we're ever going to make progress, we have to start.
We have about 30 seconds. Larry, what more would you like to see done beyond the funding?
Beyond the funding, I just want to see this get started. It's been 34 years, I think, that they've been trying to get a children's system in place. We're taking the first step. That's great. Let's get going and get it built out and help the people that need it.
Absolutely. Both of you, thank you so much for everything that you've done for children's mental health in our state and for sharing your story with us. I cannot imagine it's been easy.
It's an exciting moment, though, so it's worth it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll take a short break, everyone, and we'll be right back.
On our We Are Iowa app, we have the greatest interactive radar. Not only do you see the radar now, but you also have the interactive part where you can look at future radar.
You can't catch our newscast if you're out and about.
You can be the meteorologist, so to speak. You can zoom in on the map and let yourself know
When that storm's going to rise.
Honestly, I'm not just saying this because it's ours, but it's the best radar I've ever seen.
We are Iowa and it's everything to me.
Enough already. Iowa Banks announced $1 billion in record profits, received a significant tax reduction, and control 90% of Iowa's market. How much more could they want? Banks now want to kill competition, raise taxes on Iowa's 1.3 million credit union members, and limit financial choices in rural Iowa. Banks are misleading the public. Credit unions pay taxes. Iowans have had enough. Contact your legislators and urge them to protect financial choice.
What makes the Gracious family of classic homes different from everyone else? At Gracious, we believe the home is the heart of the family. For nearly 45 years, the Gracious family has been designing and crafting the finest homes in the Des Moines metro and surrounding areas. From move-up buyers to empty nesters and everyone in between, we help families turn their dreams into reality. We offer high-quality homes at affordable prices that are as unique as your family.
The Gracious family of classic homes. We build dreams.
Hey Central Iowa, Crossroads Shooting Sports is your premier indoor shooting range. With certified staff, we take your education, safety, and security seriously. Whether it's your first time holding a gun or you're an experienced shooter, Crossroads is a place for you. With a state-of-the-art indoor range, full-service training and conference facilities, and complete retail shop, Crossroads Shooting Sports is here to meet your needs. Visit crossroadshooting.com to learn about events, training courses, and more. Crossroads Shooting Sports, where responsibility and skill meet.
Vicente Fox was president of Mexico from 2000 to 2006. He's now an outspoken opponent of President Trump and his immigration policies. He was in Iowa this week, and he told me we should build bridges, not walls.
This glove, this home, was given to all of us, the Dalai Lama states, to 8 billion people. This home does not belong to one nation, does not belong to one leader. It belongs to all of us. And those nations that would decide to isolate themselves, to go through this stupid nationalistic background of the nation state, are going to be missing the best part of the game. So the world must be open. Borders were not created by God. And this world we have built together, we live together, and we will create much better things together.
Why doesn't a wall work? If the United States wants to have a wall, why is that a bad thing?
Well, historically, it's proven that they don't work. China, the Great Wall, totally useless. But imagine this country, the leading nation of the world, United States, the great America, isolating from the rest of the world, isolating 350 million people, talents, minds, closing all of them in 4 walls? What's going to happen to the future of this nation? That's incredible and stupid. And more so if you think that we are going to pay for it, we Mexicans. I mean, how can people believe this guy? How can people believe what he said? Mexico is the 12th largest economy in the world. Mexico buys from this nation, watch out, Iowans, We buy 40 billion US dollars worth of corn that you grow here. We in Mexico buy it from you. Where are you going to sell that corn if we don't have NAFTA or if we have a wall?
What would your reaction, had you been president during that time, what would your reaction have been?
I was offended, greatly offended, to be called criminal, rapist, useless. I mean, I'm a Mexican, and I have pride. I know what we Mexicans are. I know migrants here in the United States. I played with them in my childhood. I shared with them in the ranch my life. They came here to work, to contribute to the better being of this nation. They're great people, loyal people. So I was offended. I decided to react. And then he comes and says, not only I'm going to build a wall, you are going to pay for it. I said, we? I will not pay for that wall.
Do you believe that it is Mexico's job to stop migrants from traveling from Central America and Mexico through your country to the United States if the United States does not want them to come in?
Yes. Borders should be respected for all nations and for every nation. So I like to see the borders in Mexico, southern border, be respected. And I think President López Obrador did wrong in allowing them to come in without some permission or some documentation. In my term, I used to speak with them. We would come in and have a dialogue and understand their problems and invite them to go back to their countries without using the stick or without violating their human rights. But then we decided we need a solution, and we came out with the program Puebla Panama, which was to develop opportunities for those people back in their home, back in their place.
Now, Fox says President Trump should sit down with leaders of Central American countries to come up with some type of solution. We'll have more on those immigration solutions with President Fox next.
This is important news for people who have been exposed to the weed killer Roundup in commercial settings and later developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. According to the World Health Organization's research on cancer, the active ingredient in the weed killer Roundup, glyphosate, can cause cancers such as non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. If you or a loved one were exposed to Roundup in a commercial setting such as farming, landscaping, or golf course maintenance, and then developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, you could be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. If you or a loved one were exposed to the weed killer Roundup and were then diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now to see if you are eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Adventureland Park opens April 27th. Enjoy an entire summer of fun with a season pass including Adventure Bay and the Phoenix. Our new spinning roller coaster coming in June. Season passes are only $140 until May 31st. Get yours today on our website at adventurelandresort.com. Come on over to Adventureland. You're gonna love it at Adventureland.
Got Local 5 on your side means answers to your questions.
And we're just doing the stories that the community wants us to do, to empower you with something as a viewer that you can move forward with.
What drives these people to go above and beyond and be exceptional Iowans? That's stuff we can all use in our own lives.
To be able to be that line of connection for people is huge to them. And they can reach out to Local 5, and they're going to get answers.
We are Iowa, and it's everything to me.
Vicente Fox says the United States needs to help increase development in the Central American countries, and that'll help fix the immigration issues. But there's another driver for those fleeing the only homes they've ever known, a drug war and violence.
It is true. Drugs are a big problem. and has to be solved. That's why I profoundly believe in legalization. And this nation now, its people, its public opinion, its local governments believe in the solution of legalizing drugs. And I think that will take us out of this trap.
But it's not just marijuana that's creating this drug war.
Well, I am a total believer and convinced that all drugs should be legalized and let people decide what they want to use, what they want to do with their body and with their health. Governments should not impose behaviors, should not impose prohibitions to citizens, except the only exception is when you're harming somebody else. But if not, it's my own decision. Or they want to kill themselves by using a hard drug, they should have known about it, and they should care for their own body and their own health. Governments that prohibit don't work.
So do you believe that by getting rid of or by legalizing drugs in general, that then it would stop the immigration issue?
No, there's no connection between one and the other.
Well, but there are people who are fleeing their homes and coming to the border because they can't be in their homes because they're not safe.
Directly derived from drug consumption. It could be derived from cartels and criminals that are trafficking with drugs, or cartel and criminals that are committing other crimes, or gangs in cities, in neighborhoods. There's maratruchas. They are violence themselves, so it's different kinds of violence.
You want to build bridges. You don't believe that borders were something that God decided should be in, but you also believe they should be respected. So where's the balance?
The balance is in setting the framework, setting the conditions and the laws to regulate borders, to regulate flow of migration. That was discussed with President Bush administration and my administration. He proposed to Congress, and is still sitting there in Congress, has not been processed, an excellent solution to migration between United States and Mexico.
So what would that solution be?
The solution is, number one, those who are here and are not documented, each one of them should proceed to document themselves. If they have a job and they're doing well here, give them the document to be legal here in the United States. Those who are yet to come, let's put it on this, what I call a BOD, security BOD. When the economy runs at paces over 2.5% growth a year, you need to import labor. This nation needs to import labor. You don't have enough. If the economy is depressed and not growing, then let's close that BOD. Nobody should be coming. And it's flexible. Growing economy, you import more. Not growing economy, and import temporarily, by the way, not definite import of labor. It's invited guest program for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, for whatever is necessary.
How do you regulate that? How do you get them to come into the country and then ensure that they leave appropriately?
Well, establishing the framework and having the laws and the commitment of both nations. Mexico will have to commit. Mexico will do its part, no more than this. And United States, I will not receive no more than this, or will say I need more than that. So it has to be a framework, a legal structure, and governments working together.
Short break, everyone. We'll be right back.
In this business, it's what you do early on that gives you an edge. Like using Corvus for an early season win over weeds. Multiple sites of action deliver superior control of emerged weeds, and reactivation with a ½ inch of rain means weeds lose again. Get an early win with Corvus for end-of-season rewards.
If you live with pets, you need flooring that stands up to all accidents, all pets, all the time.
Now through May 23rd, save during the Mohawk All Pet Sale at Archer Home Center. Save up to $1,000 on select Mohawk carpet or select Mohawk hard surface styles featuring all pet protection and warranty. Discover the ultimate protection against spills and stains with exceptional savings and special financing. With the Mohawk Spring All Pet Sale, you can love your floors and love your pets.
Archer Home Center. Local 5 Fairway and the Iowa Cubs want to get you in the game. Here's your chance to be an honorary Fairway Kid Captain at an iCubs game this season. Go to WeAreIowa.com for details on how you can be the next Kid Captain.
This April on Lab. Nothing's funnier than showers.
That's an awful lot of pressure.
This show ain't free. You're the weather girl. I think there's a high pressure front moving behind my zipper. There are children here. Watch your mouth. You know you want to.
America has spoken. ABC's Bless This Mess is comedy gold.
Only a few days ago, he's a music journalist and I was a therapist, and now we're farmers.
Found a nickel, like Indiana Jones out here. Bless This Mess, new Tuesday on ABC.
You're watching This Week in Iowa, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Iowa.
Welcome back, everyone. We are joined now by Prakash Koparapu and Mitch Henry, who are both members of the Asian and Latino Coalition here in the Metro. Prakash, first of all, Mitch, thank you, both of you, for being here. Tell us, what is the Asian and Latino Coalition, and what do you do?
Asian and Latino Coalition is a Democrat PAC, and we built a coalition of members, Democratic activists, that are quite active out in the community and want to participate in the politics. So we organize every second Monday of the month in Plumbers and Steamfitters Hall, Union Hall, and we meet candidates, we invite candidates, and we have all the audience and the members speak to them and ask questions and participate in the political conversations actively.
Mitch, why do you think it's important for the Asian and Latino population to do that?
Well, a good example is if you look at the history of Iowa, how many state legislators have been elected who are Asian or Latino, you can count that on one finger. So there's, over 250,000 Asian Latinos that live in Iowa today. So our goal, ultimate goal, is to get more Asian Latino members elected to the State House, local offices, school boards.
So what's your role in the caucuses? You mentioned having these candidates come in, but how can you help to shape what's happening with the caucuses?
Right. The coalition, the most of our membership is a coalition of influencers. So all our members, when they come to these meetings and then discuss with the candidates, we actually focus on the policy issues and the questions that matters to the Iowans. And so depending on how the candidates express themselves, where they stand on their policies, our members will go back to the communities and actually speak with the rest of Iowans and Democrats, and then hopefully influence who they're going to elect in caucuses.
How do you think it's been received by the candidates?
Well, I think it's excellent reception. I mean, over the last year, since April of last year, we've met with 10 different candidates, and 4 of them actually we met with twice. We do plan next month in May to meet with 4 or 5 Democratic presidential candidates. We've had excellent turnout. We had Mayor Pete Buttigieg just on Wednesday here in Des Moines. We had over 300 people attend that. We barely had enough room. And then we also had 3 other candidates over the last week and a half, where also a very good reception, very good turnout.
What are the qualities you're looking for out of candidates who are coming and speaking to your coalition?
Mainly the leadership, who can unite the party once the caucuses or the primaries are done, and someone who can actually win all the way. That is the main quality.
I think our impact, too, is we see a lot of the candidates, they have hired Asian or Latino workers to work on their campaigns, and they're talking about our issues. I mean, it's more than just immigration for us. It's also about jobs. It's also about mental health, issues that affect our community in many different ways.
Okay, so what is the coalition's stance on immigration, and what are you looking for in a candidate on that issue?
Well, we support a comprehensive immigration reform. Also, on the DACA issue is very important to us, and that's been held up over the last couple of years with our current president. And so we're hoping with the election of a new Democratic president that we can tackle these issues head on, especially like with DACA. Also talking about border security. Do we really need a wall that goes a couple thousand miles around the border and to put our country even further debt? National debt.
So why is your group important? Even if someone in Iowa is not an Asian and not a Latino, why are you, how do you play an influential role in their lives as well?
Basically, as Mitch is just alluding to a policy standard, we go through the mental health, autism, etc. We go through IPERS issues, or the retirement and pension economy, and healthcare, and the costs of prescription drugs. So we have members in our board that represent unions. So when you put all these people together, that's the entire platform what the country needs, a regular middle class family needs. So whatever coalition puts out as a legislative priority, or when we speak with candidates, we ask for specifics. When someone says path to citizenship, there is actually one coalition member came and brought his immigration paperwork and said, after $8,000 and about this much paperwork, I'm only 30% into it. What is your specific plan? So we go into specifics with the candidates, so the rest of the, not just Asian and Latino communities, but everyone is interested in asking specifics and get specific answers.
Wonderful. Thank you both for being here. We really appreciate it. Short break, everyone. We'll be right back.
Is security your top priority? Do you want to keep you and your family safe?
Then come to Crossroads Shooting Sports in Johnston.
We're more than just a gun range. We're a nationally recognized full-service retail shop to serve all your firearm needs. From training classes to the purchase of your firearm, we're with you every step of the way. At Crossroads, you can achieve personal security and home protection. To learn more, visit our website.
Crossroads Shooting Sports, where responsibility and skill meet.
I am a nurse,
a firefighter, a college student,
a mother, and I am an American soldier. I will always be ready
for every storm and disaster that threatens my community. I will always be there to protect my neighbors,
my family,
and my country.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
We are the Army National Guard.
Visit nationalguard.com to learn more about part-time service.
Kathleen Peterson was found dead at the bottom of the couple's staircase.
Netflix's The Staircase followed the Michael Peterson murder trial. Now,
did you kill your wife?
No.
Did you want her dead?
Dr. Phil picks up.
They convicted me because of blood. They convicted me because of bisexuality.
Where the docuseries left off.
Why do you think there was so much blood?
All new Dr. Phil.
Monday at 4 on Local 5.
Where you going?
Guns.
This month on Grit.
Rootin' tootin' cowboy with guns blazing.
I had no choice but to kill him before he killed me.
I don't want to shoot with you, Harvey.
Anything you say, Butch.
How did you ever manage to live this long?
This month on Grit Television with Backbone.
Get We Are Iowa's most accurate forecast from Local 5 Weather. Mornings with Bob and Tom. 95 KGGO.
Thank you so much for joining us here on This Week in Iowa. We hope to see you again next Sunday. Have a great Easter.